Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. A mother of redemption Shaps is trying to come to grips with the death of her son. 23-year-old Kezron Kwashi was gunned down on Monday night after he was approached by 4 masked men who opened fire on him. According to police, Kwashi was sitting just outside his home and was engaged in a game of dominoes with some friends when he became the target of an unfortunate ordeal. Earlier today, SVG-TV's Nolisha Miller visited the crime scene and spoke to head of the Major Crime Unit of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, Inspector Atlan Brown, on what he thinks could be the cause of the rise in criminal activities in the community, and more so how the police plans on curbing these activities.
Inspector, 4 gunmen approached a group of men playing dominoes last night. That speaks volumes. 4 men armed with guns.
Right, and not only that, the victim, the deceased person, he was just outside his home, just under the street light, as you can see, playing dominoes, which is something that they normally do. So, I mean, how safe persons probably think they are? Well, we still think persons are safe, but the situation is really an unfortunate one. I mean, a number of lead were met on the scene, so it tells you what we are looking at here.
Members of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force on Monday night reported to a shooting incident in the Redemption Shops area where they found a number of bullet shells on the ground. Killed in the hail of bullets was 23-year-old Kezron Kwashi.
This incident actually took place just after it closed minutes to 9, thereabout it, where the deceased person, Kezron Kwashi, he was just across in the public road here playing a domino game with 3 friends, when 4 masked men came and each of them armed with a gun started firing at the person's plane, and unfortunately he was shot and in the legs and other parts of his body, and he was taken to the hospital by a family member and he subsequently died there.
Formerly labeled by the police as a hotspot, head of the Major Crime Unit, Inspector Atlan Brown, said the Redemption Shops community has been relatively quiet in relation to criminal activities. However, things seem to be heating up again over what some persons claim might be gang-related. Brown said from observation the latest homicide victim might have been shot twice. However, post-mortem will conclude how many bullets he sustained. The MCU head, who is also a resident of the Redemption Shops community, spoke highly of the deceased. He noted that Kwashi was a good community resident and believes he was a wrong target.
I would say is one of the better young persons I know growing up in this community, because I'm actually from here. I've never heard him with any sort of incident with anybody. I think he was a particularly good person growing up.
And you said he has left behind 2 children?
Yes, as far as I'm aware, he has left behind 2 relatively young children. I don't think any one of those children are 4 years yet. But I think he was the wrong target, as it is.
Overwhelmed with emotions, Pauline Kwashi, who is the mother of the deceased, stated that she was watching television when she heard the gunshots rang out just outside her home.
I was there last night in my living room. I was watching Encounter because I love to watch Encounter. And I just heard. It's okay. I heard shots keep going non-stop. It's like thunder. I came in front of my door and I started screaming because I know my children, they're in the road here. But then when I rushed by the gate, there is no one out here. But when I come, my son was running, coming to me, and the other one was running, coming towards me because they run for their life. And then my other son could not have been counted for. And we start running all over to look, to find where he is, because we don't know if he gets shot and we don't know where he is. And we run and we run and we run until they find him in the neighbor porch, lying in one big pool of blood.
Kwashi said she is trying to make sense of her son's killing.
Miss Kwashi, was your son involved in any
gangs or questionable company?
No, that's why I'm trying to figure it out, where it's coming from.
When asked about solutions or strategies that are being looked at to curb the heightened criminal activities in the area, Inspector Brown suggested more police presence, including mobile stations.
Days gone by when they had incidents like this one, we used to have the police station in the area. I mean, that could be a good ploy, really, to going forward. Mm-hmm. More patrols, a stationary unit in the area, like Otley Hall, like Glen. And I hope they would.
But do you think that will be effective in this community?
It worked here, it worked in this community, so I believe it can work again, maybe.
Kwashi's death brings the nation's homicide count to 21, 16 of which are gun-related. Nolisha Miller, The Evening News.
Trying her best to hold back the tears, Aisha Richardson, the sister of burnt victim Monique Clark, said she is heartbroken that her sibling is in intense physical and emotional pain. Speaking with SVG television earlier today on the incident Sunday night, which left her sister severely burnt, Richardson said that the information related to her is that her sister refused to go back to a usual karaoke spot in the Bible area with her boyfriend Pedro Ashton. Richardson said the mother of 2 boys was lying in bed when she felt a liquid substance being poured onto her and thinking that it was water, questioned Ashton as to why he was wetting her, but then realized it was gasoline and found herself set ablaze. Richardson said that her sister Monique then rushed out from the bedroom and poured a bucket of water on herself, after which she was assisted by her 13-year-old son, whom Richardson described as a hero, as he bravely helped to douse his mother with water to out the flames.
Medical personnel, they're trying to lessen the possibility of her contracting infection to the burnt wounds, so therefore they have refrained all visitors from visiting, but I can still go to them to ask about her condition. The last visitor yesterday afternoon, she was in a lot of pain. They gave her a pain medication to drown out the pain. Which will make her drowsy. But from speaking to my sister and my nephew, it was over $20 that she had secure for the son, and he was trying to get her to go back down to the karaoke event, which she declined. She said she felt him wet in the bed, but she thought it was water. But her amazement, before she could think again, she was already in flames and wrapped it because she was lying down. So he rushed out. She managed to get outside, where she poured a bucket of water on herself, and her son came to her assistance.
So her son, her 13-year-old son, has become a hero to her as well?
Yes, I will definitely say that, he is the one who should be praised, because I'm thinking, what about if he wasn't there? Will she have made it?
Appealing to women who are being abused to seek help, Richardson said that victims of domestic violence must realize that an incident can become fatal.
Women or anyone who is being abused out there repeatedly, don't wait for it to happen a second time, because the second time might be the last time you will be able to breathe. Seek help, confide in people who you could trust. Don't keep it a secret because of where you come from, or because of you might be embarrassed because the person has a job in society and you don't want the person to be embarrassed because your family might be mourning the next time you get abused. Speak up, get out. It's not the end of the world, because I know that my sister was being abused. I reached out to her numerous times, but we can all tell her to get out, but at the same time we were not the one in it. And doing research, it's a difficult situation when you're already in it. It becomes a norm. It becomes part of your life. It seems normal.
Meanwhile, police have arrested and charged Pedro Ashton, a 33-year-old laborer of Bible, with the attempted murder on Monique Clark, a 45-year-old domestic of the same address. In court today, it was revealed that Clark, who sustained first and second-degree burns about 85% of her body, remains in critical condition with excruciating pain in the intensive care unit at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Ashton was denied bail and remanded into custody until September 4th. The matter has been transferred to the Serious Offences Court. And gender affairs activist Jeannie Oliver is strongly condemning acts of domestic violence, particularly as it relates to women. Oliver, who is also the director of the counseling facility Marion House, said she was disheartened by the recent acts of violence perpetrated against 2 women within days, and said that the efforts made to push forward equality must never regress. Oliver also made a call for policies pertaining to violence against women to be activated and implemented fully.
Those days gone. Our society is so educated. Those are barbaric, really barbaric incidences, and should not be happening in our Vincentian society today. I mean, we had the institutionalization of the family court all the way back in 1992. Way back in 1992. And then we had the Domestic Violence Summary Proceedings Act, which came as part of a CARICOM model legislation. So, it's against the norm and our values today for us to retrogress. There's a new piece of legislation, the domestic violence legislation has been updated. And it is time, in my mind, Sharon, for the agency with responsibility for gender issues to be educating the public, male and female, young and old, government and civil society and members of the corporate sector about this piece of legislation.
The Marion House director also advised women to get help if they have been abused by calling telephone numbers 456-2161 or 491-6327.
Scream to an agency. Call an agency. Marion House's number 456-2161, hotline 491-6327. Call, scream, and we will come to you. We will not tell you, however, that we don't have no transportation. And we will not tell you that we're busy doing something else. We will take action, because that is what we're supposed to do. Our motto is to guide the individual on the path to wholeness. So if you call, we take action, because we can't guide you without getting involved. So call us immediately, any time of the day or night, and they do it.
Several charges have now been laid against the head of the Police Welfare Association, Sergeant Brenton Smith, over a statement made in a WhatsApp voice note. In an interview with SVG-TV News this evening, lawyer for the Police Welfare Association, Israel Bruce, said he is not amazed by the charges brought against Sergeant Smith. Sergeant Smith, along with 2 others of the association, were transferred to other districts in the country after a WhatsApp voice note came to light last month, where a suggestion was made for the officers to storm the Prime Minister's office to have the issues of the police heard. Bruce said that such an issue is a non-factor and that the matter which should be in focus should be the concerns of police officers.
As far as I am concerned, this matter flared up in the public, where clearly a member of an internal discussion without relevant authority allegedly leaked information. And we can now form some opinions as to how and possibly who was engaged in that leaking exercise. But I would not go on that road. I thought that the hierarchy of the police had an opportunity to lay this matter to rest, address the issues of concerns for the officers, allowing the Honorable Prime Minister as Minister with responsibility for national security, to recognize that there are issues affecting the police officers, the welfare of these workers, and to respond to them accordingly. And, well, I guess I am not amazed.
The attorney for the Police Welfare Association said he believes more charges will be brought against 2 other officers involved in the WhatsApp voice note, and that the association will do all it can to ensure that the officers are represented well.
From my own gathering of intelligence, that there is likely that another officer will receive charges tomorrow. So we shall wait until tomorrow and see whether or not they will proceed to charge a second officer. And I guess by that time we could have our additional conversations. I do not know at this point in time whether or not a third officer will be charged. But to me, what is happening here says quite a lot about where we are prepared to go as a country and as a people with regards to the extent to which we address issues of privacy and certain other rights that are enshrined within the Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a telling reality.
In an effort to enhance and expand SVG's Arrowroot industry, which has seen a decline in production and export from £4 million in 1962 to just over 100,000 in 2016, the government sought the assistance of the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, to undertake an assessment of the industry, which started in 2016. Earlier today, a draft report of the assessment was presented to local stakeholders, including farmers, to further seek a way forward for the industry. Nikita Tony has more in this report.
Expected to aid the government to make informed decisions on the future of the Arrowroot industry, an assessment of the sector has recently been carried out by the International Trade Center (ITC) through funding from the Caribbean Development Bank (CDB) in the tune of $120,000. Taking into consideration the industry's past strengths, its current situation, and a strategic vision plan for its development, findings were presented at a workshop held earlier today, Tuesday, August 15th, by a team of consultants from the ITC. Noting that his team has taken the task to aid in the growing of the industry, along with making it more competitive and sustainable, ITC representative Matthias Urutiote said the project also aims to increase the income of small farmers.
And we hope that our contribution will help to take decisions to the government and to the different stakeholders, and to make this happen in the long term. It's a big challenge because markets are there. What are the food safety requirements and the conditions that the market is demanding, and how that translates into some technology and processing options that you have here for transforming the industry. We hope that there will be an open dialogue and that we are going to get your feedback, your comments, your suggestions.
Given a brief background of the project, Professor at the University of the West Indies, Leonard Ogaro, highlighted some pointers on moving the industry forward.
I'd suggest later on that the farmers and the other stakeholders perhaps take greater control of the industry to move it forward. The industry that you work in, the Arrowroot industry, has assets and value, and they can be used in very creative ways to move the industry forward.
Delivering the featured address, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture Raymond Ryan pointed out that the project is part of the government's aim to build resilience in the agriculture sector.
Production and export of Arrowroot starch declined considerably from over 4 million in 1962 to just over 100,000 in 2016. Fruit production is currently concentrated in the northern part of the island, where it remains very important to persons living in the area, socially, culturally, and economically.
Emphasizing that a careful analysis of market and market access will aid in the expansion of the industry, Ryan said the project will aid in this regard.
Capitalizing on the highly lucrative gluten-free market also requires that the industry complies with the strict quality requirements required to ensure that SVG has a robust food safety control system compliant with international standards to service the needs of the Arrowroot industry and wider agricultural food service sector. Optimal annual Arrowroot production targets, factory capacity, start extraction, and processing and packaging options should be assessed.
The findings presented today, along with the feedback from partners present, are expected to aid in adopting an effective plan towards the enhancement of SVG's Arrowroot industry. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
A number of local farmers earlier today participated in a workshop on prompting sustainable livelihoods among Eastern Caribbean farmers at the Methodist Church Hall. The initiative by the Windward Islands Farmers Association, WINFA, the Caribbean Policy Development Center, CPDC, and the European Union looked at areas such as climate-smart agriculture, increasing productivity, improved farming practices, and marketing and financial management, among other areas. WINFA's project coordinator, Coselle Fraser, said a collaborative effort is needed to address the repercussions of climate change. She said the project, which is also a regional initiative, aims at not only giving persons knowledge, but also the necessary skill sets to apply their understanding.
We really need to be thinking out a number of things, and I think 3 of these came to mind. How do we develop our vulnerable sectors, particularly our agricultural, water, and our coastal resources, utilizing the information that is now available to us to respond to the challenges on our livelihood, particularly on food production and so forth? What can we do as actors? As development partners, we know that we cannot do it by ourselves and that there is need for a collaborative approach. And what is the role for each stakeholder in this light? And also, how do we build the successful partnership that is necessary to address the financial requirements of transformation?
Executive Director of the Caribbean Policy Development Center, Gordon Bisham, commended farmers for participating in the program and highlighted that it is necessary to improve productivity.
Which means we want farmers to become more successful. We want farmers to make more money. We want farmers to invest more in terms of increasing their productivity. And therefore, the 3 broad specific objectives of the project is to increase productivity at the farm level. If you're using 1 acre, to produce more on that 1 acre. If you have 5 acres, to produce more on that 5 acres. Secondly, we're going to look to introduce renewable technologies into your farming activities. And thirdly, if possible at all, we're going to be looking at reducing carbon emissions at the farm level. I mean, small island developing states such as St. Vincent and Grenadines do not emit a lot of carbon dioxide and therefore contribute to the global warming problem. But every action is important, and even a little reduction here in the Caribbean.
Chief Agricultural Officer Ashley Kane also expressed hope that more youngsters would be inspired to become involved in agriculture.
It is my understanding that this workshop is also a launching pad for a project aimed at promoting sustainable livelihoods, not only here in St. Vincent, but across the Eastern Caribbean. We have seen drastic reduction in investment in agriculture, and we trust that through initiatives like this, and with increased productivity at the farm level, we would lift up an atom of space so that a child would dream of being a good farmer, a good agriculturalist, and someone who is committed to passing on to the next generation.
More must be done to protect the natural environment if SVG is to move forward as an eco-friendly destination. That's according to Louise Mitchell, the coordinator of the SVG Preservation Fund, as she spoke at an open day on Saturday at the Richmond Vale Academy, attended by several stakeholders who came together to discuss issues of ecotourism and sustainable farming. Speaking with SVG-TV News team, Mitchell Joseph said SVG is yet to fully embrace its ecotourism potential, adding that there must be fundamental changes made to take full advantage of it.
Because if we were an ecotourism destination, the government would be doing more to protect the natural resources of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So they would actually have more control about the types of developments that we have. For example, they wouldn't allow a Buccamet resort to create an artificial white sand beach. That's not ecotourism. So what is important is to take stock in terms of where we're at. Where we're at right now, we're not ready to position ourselves for ecotourism without making some fundamental changes. We have started on that path. We have a lot more to do. But right now we litter too much, right? Right now we kill too many whales and dolphins, you know, but we are taking steps in the right direction. For example, the ban on the hunting of endangered turtles, that's a step in the right direction. But what has happened over the years is that St. Vincent has really done a lot to destroy its natural environment. And if we're going to fully embrace ecotourism, we have to stop polluting. We have to stop the hotels from allowing their waste to go into the sea.
Mitchell added that the greatest asset to SVG is its natural environment and highlighted the advantage of getting involved in ecotourism.
So if we're going to move in the direction of ecotourism, we really have to do more to protect our natural environment. Our natural environment is actually our greatest asset. So this is the way forward for St. Vincent. And the thing with ecotourists is that when they come to St. Vincent, these type of tourists, they want to experience the local culture and interact with the people. They don't want to go in an all-inclusive hotel. So ecotourism traditionally is one in which the income from tourism actually spreads throughout the community. It doesn't just stay in the resort. So it is the preferred type of tourism for an island like St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
She added that farmers also have a role to play in making SVG an eco-friendly tourism destination.
Sustainable agriculture is a critical part of ecotourism because, you know, when people come here and they're looking for crops to eat, you know, we have to be able to say to them that, listen, the fruits that you're eating, they're actually organic and healthy, because if we use too many chemicals in the growing of our trees, then the actual fruit that's produced has a high chemical content. So it's important that the government, they actually now have equipment to measure the actual chemical content in the actual produce. So, you know, so all of these are very positive steps that are being made towards ecotourism, but I still believe we have a long way to go. But the government has started doing its part, but now the farmers, really, there's a lot on them, as well as the persons in the tourism industry, to ensure that we do not pollute our oceans. And also Vincentians need to stop littering.